if you're going to bring a team or you're going to go individually, like, how do you sell it to leadership? What's the ask look like? What would you recommend to someone that says, hey, like, they've not given me clearance, they've not said yes, or like, what's the hurdles there? What hurdles are people jumping over to be able to go to make it a yearly thing?
I think a big part of it is understanding what the metrics are for you in this position in terms of what your leadership looks at. So for me, the way that I sold it, and part of this, it benefits me having the history that I do. They see immediately the relationships that I foster. They know that if I'm faced with a challenge in the field, whether it's at a trade show or one of our Seagate owned events, which are really large scale events all over the world, chances are I'm going to know somebody who can get us out of a jam in any number of places. And this event just fosters those connections. It allows me to keep those connections and grow them so that I am that answer for them. But in the metric for them is also making sure that from a trade show presence perspective, that our designs are not getting stale, that we are using the most current and the most up-to-date technology. We're a technology company, and I need to make sure that we really are meeting those marks. That after every show, I submit a sustainability report. And what I do in the addendum is I call attention to where I sourced a new sustainability effort, where I learned about it, where the information came from. I will try to track it back to an article, track it back to a podcast or something of that nature. I did it with your podcast when you had Al on and he connected me with who could recycle my SEG graphics. That's now part of my report. So it's just meeting those
That's
benchmarks
excellent.
and being able to speak back to my leadership and say, hey, I know the most up-to-date design elements. I know the most up-to-date tech elements. I'm learning the most up-to-date and learning from the best in the industry on what exhibit sustainability looks like. Here's a whole new slew of audience engagement, the quest of all of us. How do we get the audience engaged? And here's a video of AI robot arms drawing sketches, in real time that people can take away that we've branded. So being able to report back to them and show how I would apply it and include suggestions for what the next event is. It's just really about proving the value of what I've learned and immediately being able to apply it to my show schedule. That's how I sold it.
It's kind of like anything else that we've talked about a lot is like, I think event managers, event marketers need to get better at building a business case for something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like one of my thoughts that I got to this as I was thinking about it is essentially this idea of like, name somebody in like a corporate organization that is managing and is entrusted with a budget as large as an event manager or marketer is. And then second piece on that is a role that has the lack of training, the lack of education. So
Right.
you have event managers, you have event marketers working for huge corporate companies. I've worked with some of them. They have no formal training, yet they're managing $1 million,
Yep.
$500,000. So to me, it's easy for me to say that I'm not in the seat, but essentially that would be somehow I'd have to find a way to mold that to leadership and be like, hey, by the way, it's a lot of money that I'm in control of here. We need to get results. We need to build a business case. I'm telling you, like, education would be amazing for me
Yeah.
so I can get better at this and get better at managing that money. I'm not sure how to phrase that for people, but I think if anyone were to be listening to this on the podcast that's thinking, wow, I would love to go to Exhibitor Live. I would love to go get education. I would love, how do you pitch to business? I would find a way to take what I just said and what you just said and put it into something for them.
Yeah. And CTSM, that's one thing I have all these years in the industry, and I've always known it existed, but now all of a sudden I'm like, I have to get that. That is my goal. That is the next step for me. And being able to prove the educational aspect of it just based on one day on this show floor this year, it will be no problem for me. There's so much value in it. And it's just there's just so much that can be done with it. And I have to actually present a full report on my participation in the event to my leadership and be able to show what I learned and how I'm going to apply it. And like, it's so invaluable. I really think that, and I'm actually surprised there are as few CTSM certified people as there are. I thought there were more, and I read the stats on it last week, and I thought there were more than there are. So again, something on exhibitors' behalf, I feel like could be promoted more. And it, again, like you said, you can't go to college and learn this. Something
No.
that I always tell people is, I am not, I don't call myself a marketer. Like, to me, there's a difference. Somebody who goes to college and gets a degree in marketing, or somebody who has all these marketing certificates, absolutely, that's a part of it. But I work as a collaborative marketing team of dozens of people, but I am the trade show. And that's, to me, where the difference is truly focused education on your participation in trade shows. You're absolutely right. You can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah. And I would even argue not to say that someone doesn't need the certification, because I think it's great. It's something that you obtain, makes you feel good. I would just argue like that the things that you're learning, you're going to take them and go produce results.
Mhm.
Like you just are. It's like when you go to, I'm just talking through this as I'm thinking right now, but it's like when you go to a conference and you listen to a whole bunch of keynotes, you're just hoping to pull something, right? And sometimes they're very general, right? They can be general. But when you go to Exhibitor Live and you're in the CTSM program, it's not general. It's very specific. The classes are specific. You get to choose which ones you want to be in to help you to solve the problems that you need to solve. So I would even say, if I'm selling someone, certificate or no certificate, I'm bringing back information and ideas that can be applied to help business initiatives, which is hopefully what, you know, leadership wants.
And
If not, we're all in trouble.
that's just the kickoff point. Like, it literally attending those classes and being a part of that educational and getting exposure to those industry experts, it just kicks open more doors. It just gives you
Mhm.
more opportunity to reach out. And these people, there's so many people that I met and saw that are more than willing to share their years of expertise and their knowledge, and are just thirsty for it, that want to help you. And so many people that don't even know that those opportunities exist is definitely is what I kind of feel at this point.